Talking about adding integers part 2. Let's look at our number routine for today. This is a number line, and we will copy this down, and we see -2, which is to the left of 0. So in the number line, as a reminder, what do you know about it? There are negative numbers, negative whole numbers to the left of 0, positive whole numbers to the right. What else do we know? In a number line, using my text, it goes from least to greatest. Remember, numbers to the right will be greater to the numbers to the left of it. So let's look at our first example. I see, where will we plot 3? Well, 3 is a positive number, so it will definitely go 3 units to the right of 0, so I go right here. Where would you find -4? Well, it will be to the left of 0, 4 units to the left of 0, or 2 units to the left of -2. Integer greater than -2. Where would you find an integer greater than -2? So it could be -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be to the right of -2. What about an integer less than -2? Well, that's going to be left of -2. So it would be -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. Whole numbers. What do you generally find whole numbers? Again, what is a whole number? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0 and the natural numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know it's going to be to the right of 0. And last but not least, absolute value of -2. What is the absolute value of -2? How far is -2 from 0? 2 units. So some people think it goes right here. No, it goes right here. So let's look at our do now. It says model -7 with -4. -7 plus -4. So I have 7 negatives. 4, 6, and 7. I'm going to put it together with 4 more negatives. Do you see any 0 pairs? Do you see anything canceling here? No. If I put 7 negatives with 4 negatives, I have an answer of -11. So let's write that down, -11. All right, so today we're going to be focusing using number lines. However, in algebra, we are going to be using counters. In algebra, you'll be given unit squares as -1 or +1, rectangles which represent variables, x or -x, and squares which is x squared and -x squared. In 6th grade, we only focus on variables and unit squares. So let's look at the first example. 3 plus 5. Well, we know 3 plus 5 is 8. But how do you represent it on a number line? So we start at 0. So 3, that's to the right of 0. 3 units to the right of 0. Plus 5, that's to the right. So 5 units to the right of 3. So it stops at 8. 3 plus 5 is 8. Next one, -4 plus -1. Starting at 0 again. -4. Would that be to the right or left of 0? Left of 0. So it goes 4 units to the left of 0. So -4. I'm going to put it with a -1. That would be to the left of 0 by 1. So the answer is -5. What if you look at this and said, I need a concrete example of this? Fine, let's look at -4. And I'm going to put it together with 1 negative. Do you see any 0 pairs? I don't. So the answer is -5. Some students prefer using concrete models such as counters. Some students prefer the number line, while others will say, can I just do it mentally? I know if I put 4 negatives with 1 negative, I have 5 negatives in all. As a teacher, I prefer myself mentally. So next one, 5 plus -2. How would this be represented using a number line? Let's use screen. So I know 5 units to the right of 0. I'm going to put it together with -2. So that's be 2 units to the left. So it stops at 3. So the answer is 3. If you do not trust me, if I using concrete, I take out 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have 2 negatives right here. These are 0 pairs as a reminder. So what do you have left? 3 positives. Positive 3. Next one, 4 negatives. So starting at 0, I go 4 units to the left of 0. -4 plus 3. That's 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. It stops at -1. Let's see if we can do it mentally. If I have 4 negatives and I put it with 3 positive, what do I have more of? I have more negatives by how many? By 1. So it's -1. Next one. Ooh. We need to add 3 integers. So starting at 0, I go 4 units to the right. That's -4. Plus 3. That's to the right. 3. That stops at -1. Plus 4 more. So that's 4 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. It stops at stops at what number? 3. The answer is 3. How many of you notice that if you put 4 negatives with 4 positive, it becomes 0 pair if they cancel out? So what do you have left there? 3 is the answer. Do we need to use counters to see this? So we have 4 negatives, and I put it with 3 positives. And I put it with 4 more positives. And these are all 0 pairs. What do you have left? Positive 3. Next one, 2. Let's use my pen. So it starts 0, 2 units to the right of 0, plus 3 units to the right. It stops at 5. In order of operation, which we'll be learning right there before Christmas, 2, you do parentheses first. 2. So this is a term. 2 plus 3 is 5. The operator is plus. You're going to add it to 3 negatives. So we go back 3. 1, 2, 3. We stop at 2. But using associative property, how many of you realize that if you put together 3 with -3, they cancel out 0 pair, we're left with 2. All right, so we have 4 examples here. It said use counters to answer these. So let's look at number 4. It says 6 positives. 1, 2, copy, paste. I'm going to put it together with 8 negatives. 1, 2, copy, paste. What do you have so far? All these are 0 pairs, so we're left with -2 so far. Plus, let's do the absolute value. So what is 4 plus -5? Let's see, if I put 4 positives and I put it with 5 negatives, what do you have more of? I have more negatives by 1. But what's the absolute value of -1? How far is -1 from 0? 1 unit. So it's +1. So the final answer is -1. So it says 6 plus -8, and the value of this will be 1. So again, in absolute, they want you to solve inside the absolute value bar. If you put 4 positive with 5 negative, you have more negatives by 1. What's the absolute value of -1? 1. All right, let's use our number line. How would you pen? Let's do number 5. Starting at 0, I have 5 units to the left of 0. I go 7 units to the right I stop at 2. Do you prefer the counters or do you prefer the number line? And let's look at number 8. I start at 0. I go 3 negatives to the left of 0. I go 5 negatives to, so I stop at -8. These are all could be done mentally in your head. I have 22 negatives. I mix it with 2 more negatives. Will anything cancel? No. I have 24 negatives. I have 17 negatives. I have 7 positives. I put together with 7 positives. Do I have more negatives or more positive? Definitely way more negatives. By how many more? By 10. I have 10 negatives. I have 14 positives. I have more positives. How many more positives do I have? I have 4 more positives. And number 12, I have 26 negatives. I put it with 42 negatives. How many negatives would that be? That would be 68 negatives. And then I have 10 positives. What do I have more of? I have more negatives. How many more negatives do I have positive? I have 58 negatives. In the North Pole, the temperature was -33 degrees in the morning. If the temperature drops another 5 degrees, what is the temperature now? So it's -30. Well, you know what? I'm going to see if I can, I'm tired writing with this. I'm going to see if I can type it. So I have -30 degrees. It drops another. How do you represent it drops another 5? -5. So it is -35 degrees Fahrenheit. Next one. In Fairbanks, Alaska, the temperature was -12 in the morning. It rises 8 degrees. To rise as a positive. So what is the temperature now? Well, it's still cold. So it is, do I have more negatives or more positive? More negatives, 4. Do we need to draw, you could draw a number line, a vertical number line. You can use counters to solve that if you need to. And last but not least, let's see if you could try this one. Can you give, if you're given a number line, can you find the addition expression? Starting at 0, it's -1. And it seems like it's going left, so it's -1 to -3, and it stops at -4. -1 plus -3 equals -4. Well, try this example. Start at 0, it goes 5 units to the right. I put it together with, it goes back twice, 2 units, so it stops at 3. 5 plus -2 equals 3. And last but not least, it is 4, it goes back 4 negatives, go back 4 units, and then it goes forward 4 units, and then 0. Oh, 0 pair, they all cancel out. So hopefully you have a greater understanding of how to add integers using counters and using number lines, and do it mentally in your head.